This graph predicts if you'll be successful in the next 2 years. I created it based on how the first 2 years of successful people's journey look like, my own journey, and also the journeys of successful people I've actually coached. If the first 2 years of your journey look like this graph, you'll succeed. However, most people's journeys do not look like this graph, and so they fail. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what you need to do to guarantee success. Welcome to the Self-Transcendence series. Self-transcendence means to overcome your old self and pursue your goals and fulfill your potential every day. It's a method I developed while exploring the lives and mentality of great men and has allowed me to achieve perfect discipline. This video serves to inspire you and educate you while showing you what self-transcendence looks like. If you want to become a disciplined man starting now, join our free group in which you'll find the Self-Transcendence Challenge, which will teach you how to do this step by step. Let me explain this graph now, and this graph is basically about doing the work, being consistent with your habits, trying to achieve your goal. And the reason it predicts whether you're successful is basically because it describes how to do the work, or it describes the realistic journey of just becoming consistent. And if you become consistent, obviously you'll become successful. So the you are here represents your starting position. And this basically means that you've had this moment in your life where you've decided to change, you've decided to be ambitious, you've set some goals. You know this moment. You know the moment in your life in which you said, holy fuck, I need to change my life. This is that moment. This is the beginning of this graph. And so you set a goal because you want to change your life. You set the goal to change your life. You are at the beginning. And basically what this graph represents is, with the red line, we have the desire for your old habits, your old pleasures, which is scrolling, eating junk food, just being lazy in general, your old habits. And the green line represents the work, the new habits that you have to establish to work, whether that's, going to the gym consistently or doing your business work or whatever. And you are at the beginning right now. So I'm going to assume you're at the beginning and you're trying to put in work, but you're struggling, you're inconsistent, you keep maybe procrastinating, you keep lacking discipline. Now the thing about this graph is that if you want to move forward and achieve your goal, all you need is time and discipline. So you need to do the right habits for a long enough time and you achieve exactly what you want. What this graph represents is what it looks like over time to essentially be disciplined and achieve your goals. So in the first year, as you can see, the desire for the habits and the pleasures at the start is extremely high, and the fulfillment from the results is extremely low because you don't have any fulfillment. Let's give the example with business. Let's say you want to start a business. Well, the desire for your old habits, maybe it's watching YouTube, maybe it's scrolling your phone, maybe it's eating junk food, going out to parties and things like that. The old habits you have are very strong right now. Your brain, you've done them yesterday, your brain remembers them, and your habits are strong. Whereas the fulfillment from the results, aka the results from your business, are non-existent because you've never done this before. Working on your business feels absolutely torturous, so you have zero fulfillment, you have zero results. And this is the position. And of course, when you're in this position, you will struggle to be and to have any consistency with your habits, because what happens is you take maybe 1 or 2 steps forward, but then you take almost 1 or 2 steps backwards as well. And so you really struggle to progress. You're stuck in the cycle of doing the same old bad habits because the desire you have for these habits is very powerful, whereas you have zero fulfillment from the results. This is the first year, and basically what you do in this first year is you take 3 steps forward and then you take 2 steps backwards. And this happens again and again and again and again. But in the first year, if you slowly move towards the yellow point you see, well, you will actually start getting successful. Because guess what happens? You start becoming consistent with your habits. The reason it takes about a year is because basically I believe that if by yourself you're trying to be productive, you're trying to be disciplined, you're trying to establish completely new habits, It will take you about 1 year to do so. Yes, technically, if you quit a bad habit and you start doing a new good habit for 30 days, you have moved to the yellow point, which I'll explain in a second. But realistically, if you're doing this by yourself, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have a few days of a good habit and a few days of a bad habit, and for every step you take forward, you're gonna like take half a step backwards as well. So you're only slowly going to move, and every time you break your discipline, you reset essentially your progress. You don't reset it from zero, you just bring your progress back. So you make 3 steps forward, you take 2 steps backwards, and this means that you need more time to actually reach the yellow point, because you keep going forward, going backwards, going forward, going backwards. We all know this habit problem that we have, where you want to stop eating junk food, you stop for a few days, but then you go back, and this keeps happening again and again. But gradually, if you increase the distance over the course of a year, realistically, you're gonna reach the yellow point. The yellow point is the changing point. It's the point at which you've done enough good habits that the fulfillment from the results overcomes the desire for the bad habits. So you've also put enough distance between you and the bad habits. So let me give you the example with YouTube, with my channel. At the start, I had the desire to watch YouTube videos. The desire to watch YouTube videos was very high because I was watching YouTube videos every day. Whereas the fulfillment from the results from YouTube was non-existent. In fact, it was negative. I had no fulfillment. I had anxiety to make YouTube videos. I hated it, and I had 0 subscribers, and nobody ever watched my videos. I had like 5 views per video. This was my starting point. And so of course, I hated making YouTube videos. I struggled making YouTube videos. And what happened is I took 3 steps forward, like I make the video, but then 2-3 days I was spent procrastinating. So I take 2 steps backwards, and progress was extremely slow. But at some point I reached the changing point. At some point I got some results. I uploaded enough videos to get some results, I got a video with 30,000 views on my channel. So I got some results. But also I had put some distance between myself and the bad habits. So I had blocked YouTube. I wasn't watching so many videos anymore. And the combination of these 2 things reached my changing point. And what the changing point basically represents is that the fulfillment from your results, aka in this case uploading the YouTube videos and creating the YouTube videos, became higher than my desire to procrastinate and watch YouTube videos or watch porn or do anything else. And when I reached this point, it became easy for me to start doing the work. Discipline became easy, because when the fulfillment from the results is higher than the desire for the bad habits, discipline becomes easy. And this is what the second year represents. So the first year is you basically struggling with your habits. You're not really making that much progress. The reason you're not making progress is because you keep self-sabotaging, you keep undercutting your own success. But after 1 year, let's say you have managed to get fulfillment from the results. You've been struggling, but you have gotten little results at least. And then you've put some distance between yourself and the bad habits, so you're not doing them as often anymore. You reach the changing point. And from that point forward, discipline becomes easy, because the fulfillment is higher than the desire for the bad habits. Now, the second year, the reason it takes 2 years, I would say, to succeed is because once you reach the changing point, you actually have to put in 1 year of consistent work to actually achieve results from that work. So far you've not achieved many results because obviously you haven't been consistent with your work. But once you reach the second year, you start being consistent, and then you have to wait another year for this consistency to pay off, especially if your goal is ambitious. It depends on your goal. So for example, if you're doing a business, the first year you do nothing. Basically, you take 3 steps forward, you do some work, but then 2 steps backwards. But let's say you reach 1 year and you might actually manage to start being consistent with your business. You reach the changing point. You've put some distance between your bad habits. You reach the changing point. Discipline becomes easy, which has happened to me right now, as you can see every day. And then from there, you start putting consistent work on your business. 1 year later, with consistent work, you're finally gonna start having results. So if your journey right now looks like this, where you're really struggling at the start, it's actually fine. It's actually fine. You just need to keep doing as much work as you can and putting distance between your bad habits. You need to keep taking 3 steps forward, and yes, you're gonna take 2 steps backwards, but you need to keep going. At some point, you're gonna reach a changing point. You're gonna reach a point at which you get enough fulfillment from the good habits and you don't desire the bad habits as strongly anymore. And at that changing point, discipline becomes easy. You start being consistent every single day. And depending on your goal, you might have to wait a few months, you might have to wait a year, but you will start getting results with your goal. Only thing you need, and this is the key lesson of this video, is patience. You need to keep going. You're supposed to be struggling with your habits for the first year. This is completely normal. And then once you establish consistency, you're supposed to be struggling for 1 year, again doing the work, but not getting results. And that's completely normal. But after the 2 years, I promise you, you'll be successful. Did I self-transcend today? I don't know. Actually, yes. Spoiler alert, you can click off. Actually, let me read out a few comments. David Kaida says David Kaida 23 says, bro, you're 21. That's crazy young. I'm 22 actually, but thank you. Inspiring story. I see like 2 more years getting some real traction for sure. I don't know. Maybe. Nikki 6 Angel says, all right. So, and gives a heart. So, thank you, mwah, for this comment. Now, I'm gonna go to my purpose system and show you the day. So this is the day, everything's perfect, and this is gonna be done, and this is whatever. So 5 out of 5, 0 bad habits, self-transcendence completed, which meant that I had a perfect day of discipline, and I did not do any of the bad habits. And that's what self-transcendence is about, upgrading your character every single day. Thanks for watching. If you want to become a disciplined man, set clear goals and become a disciplined man who actually achieves them, join the community. It's all about that. Namaste. Au revoir. Adios. Bye.